Nice pun. I like the pun.
So the first place I've seen this story reported is by a former Twitter X user now named Disney Dan Becker. Someone asked why Dr. Facilier wasn't included in the attraction. He stated, there has been a company-wide mandate to turn away from religious iconography from tiki to voodoo. It's just not what they want to be associated with now. It's why all your new Trader Sam's mugs are IP themed and the new Polynesian hotel is Moana. That was his explanation of things. Now, do we want to stop here and comment on just what Disney Dan here said, or do we want to hear one more?
Do the one more.
Let's do the one more. Let's hear. Yeah.
So again, this came from an ex-user named Dre, and he stated, Dr. Facilier was never considered by WDI for use in the attraction due to his association with voodoo and Carmen Smith's insistence that any depictions of it would be culturally insensitive. This is why Mama Odie was changed from a quote-unquote voodoo queen to a quote-unquote Bayou fairy godmother, which is how they described her in the literature. That Park Place also discussed this rumor as well and seemed to lend credence to that this is the reason why Dr. Facilier was left out. So I thought I'd ask you guys, do y'all buy into this? Is this the reason? I mean, do y'all sign more Disney Dan, Dre? Do y'all think they're both full of it? What do y'all think about this?
The first thing about like trying to get away from voodoo and tiki as stereotypes, like stereotypes of voodoo and tiki. I think that is a legitimate concern for the company. I can understand why they would be trying to avoid that. But what sticks out to me is that I just sailed on the Disney Wonder, the cruise ship, a couple years ago. So this would have been after the re-theme of Splash Mountain and all of that effort by the company to kind of move away from some of these things. And there's the bar on the Wonder had just been rethemed in dry dock to a Dr. Facilier bar.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah. The whole thing's themed to him. So I feel like if they are stepping away, it would be weird for them to have done that too. You know what I mean? Around the same time period.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
I'm wondering, I'm just throwing this out there. Because I was just researching some things just now, and I saw that Voodoo Donut is having trouble trying to get into New Orleans.
Voodoo Donut?
Have you ever heard Voodoo Donuts out of Portland? They do like the crazy themed donuts, and they got all kind of, it's like, you know, it's like a social media or media nationwide thing. Voodoo Donuts, right?
Yeah, okay.
So they're having trouble. Yeah.
They have them at Universal.
They have them at Universal, yeah. But they're having trouble getting to New Orleans because of the voodoo people here are pushing back on it. And so I'm just like, that's interesting. I don't know if it's the entire religious thing that maybe Disney's avoiding, but part of me thinks like, would you want to piss off a voodoo? I mean, we're from here. We're from New Orleans.
Yeah.
We know what this thing's all about. I don't know if I get it wrong in my attraction. I don't want anybody sticking pins or in a doll of me somewhere. I don't know. I rather not just, you know, they don't even know what a gree bag is down there in Florida. So to even protect their asses down there. So it's like, maybe voodoo they're trying to just avoid because of that, because the Voodoo Donut pushback happened all last year. Apparently it was a whole rigmarole and whatnot. And they're still not here. They're still not in New Orleans. But I'm wondering if they saw that and they're just like, you know, maybe we shouldn't piss these people off.
I mean, yeah, that's a little rough with a donut and the ride, but I would say I don't buy it. The only reason why I say I don't buy it is because just like with Splash Mountain, you know, Uncle Remus, he didn't get his rep. Now Dr. Facilier can't get his rep. My brothers can't get a rep.
That's a good point.
On the ride. The other thing is, how do we just do a show about Bob Iger talking about how creative the staff is and what stories they bring and how much money that has, and then how it's supposed to translate to the park? And this is a story that they made, right? This is a story they made. This is what they brought to the ride. How are you just going to be like, now we're just cherry picking our narrative? I don't think that would be a case I could buy, because if that's the point, then look, Disney just from here on out, just make everything as just bland as you possibly can, because the race thing was one thing. When they were trying to talk about being woke, that's something else. But yeah, religion is a completely different subject. If they don't want to deal with that, take this right out again and then put something else in it. But that is a very integral part of
The story.
No, yeah.
Yes. No, I agree. I don't see the religious iconography element that they're discussing. I think that sounds a little odd, considering they just did a very successful Disney Plus series called Percy Jackson, which deals a lot with gods.
Yeah.
Great point. Yeah.
Star Wars uses the Force that is highly religious in concept.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Indiana Jones is Raiders of the Lost Ark, Holy Grail.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
Hell, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, we go to hell.
Yeah.
True.
The Tiki Room. I mean, what? So that's going now too?
No, probably
No,
not.
I don't think it is.
No.
And I really find it hard to believe that this is why the new Trader Sam's mugs are IP themed and the new Polynesian hotels Moana. No, they're doing this because they're into IP, not because they think that they need to wipe out religious iconography or whatever. I just don't buy that as being it. So I think the first report is
Does not hold water.
Yeah, it does not hold water.
No,
Water.
it doesn't.
No water.
The defense is wrong.
Are you sure?
Now, I might be able to buy that Carmen Smith thought it would be a cultural, cultural stereotyping.
Yeah.
If the story used voodoo, it has to be something. And that sounds as good as anything. And judging by how Disney has done things lately, that seems to be fitting with how they would be thinking. I just find that to be highly stupid, because they're not worried about offending us New Orleanians when it comes to putting a mountain in the middle of a swamp or having a bayou resting inside of a salt dome, things that never have existed nor never will exist.
Kale and
in New
gumbo.
Orleans. Yes. Things that insults every local's intelligence to hear. But voodoo, which does exist here and has existed here for over a century, now that's problematic? You're worried about offending us with that? I mean, so we've removed one set of problematic characters for another? How fitting is that?
Yeah.
I don't even understand what the problem with voodoo is. It's not like Princess and the Frog treats voodoo as a religion founded on evil. Dr. Facilier engages in it. Madame Odie engages in it. Good and bad, like Jedi and Sith. They use it like the Force. It could be used for good. It could be used for evil. And that is how voodoo is done. It is used for good and it's used for evil.
Yeah.
And if that also is the case, then I guess we can't have any characters who perform witchcraft anymore, because that's just not really how Wiccans perform it. And it's highly insulting that we stereotype witchcraft by having characters like the Sanderson sisters and Maleficent and Ursula. So it just seems so silly, so stupid, so getting out beyond their skis. I just don't know what people are thinking when they go down this road.
I would agree. I mean, look, if they're that worried about it, just get you a chicken and then just cut it up and just, I guess, pour all the stuff around the ride and shake around. I mean, try it. Try the religion if that's the case, and then say, hey, look, we are blessing this ride every time, and maybe that's why it won't break. I don't know.
I mean, I know with the Jungle Cruise and the Trader Sam's thing, which you had mentioned, and the issue isn't necessarily that they're afraid of the religion itself, or like, I think the issue is that a lot of those things are or were designed on stereotypes of those religions and not necessarily like authentic representations of how those things existed in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
And so Disney's trying to back away from those stereotypes and back away from misrepresenting what those cultures actually were. And what is a little bit frustrating is in their backing away from it, they're not engaging in learning about those cultures in these particular